Morning, how are you all? This is a bit of a strange subject to talk about because everyone's normally quite private about this, but I put a post on Facebook yesterday, just a fun little one about a mammogram, just reminding people, and a lot of people liked it and shared it, and I thought actually it's a really important message to come on about. Recently I've had my first ever mammogram, just an ad hoc one, so this is one for the ladies really, hopefully, and I haven't got a big health story to tell or anything like that, but I just thought I would share a couple of things. First was how incredible the NHS have been, and I just think it's nice to sing them out and shout their praises sometimes, because we often see them having being slated, so it's quite nice to be able to say how fantastic they were. So I went to my doctor last week before, on a Thursday, and I'd been feeling uncomfortable in one boob, not pain, not a lump, just uncomfortable, lying on my right hand side, which is the way I normally go to sleep. I was just feeling something's not quite right for a couple of months, and I thought I'm going to watch it in case it changes with my cycle, because often you feel changes during your cycle. So no, it didn't change, and it was still uncomfortable. I was just aware of it. Sometimes when I moved, something was different, so I thought I better go and check it. I went to the doctor. She was amazing. She did decide it was worth referring me to the hospital, and later that afternoon, I'd had a morning appointment. Later that afternoon, I had a phone call from the hospital offering me an appointment first thing the next morning, which I couldn't actually make, but how incredible was that the NHS could do that so quickly. They then booked me in for the following week, so I went on Friday for my appointment, which was possibly to include a mammogram, ultrasound, and maybe biopsies and things, and it actually ended up involving all of those things, and I was really terrified. I wasn't worried that I was going to have a bad result. I just thought it's something that I should check. I'm 40. My mum had breast cancer when she was in her 50s, and she's completely clear of it now. I wasn't feeling particularly concerned, but I just felt like I ought to check it. And I actually think doing a video like this, sometimes it just reminds whoever's watching, breast related or not, that if you've got a health concern, just check it out, no matter how silly. I did feel a bit silly going to the doctors and saying I haven't got a lump, but it feels different, so there wasn't much to say, but actually sometimes it is worth just reporting your small symptoms, and seeing if it's something that they want to do something further with. So I went to the hospital. I had countless mammograms. Put your clothes back on, take your clothes back off, kept going back into the waiting room and being rehoiked back in there for some more photos. And I was really scared about the first ever one being super painful. It was uncomfortable, it was quite sore, especially if they had to clamp me for quite a while at times, but I think for probably just a bog standard mammogram, I don't think it's as big a deal as I was probably making it out to be. So in the UK we are mammogrammed from the age of 50. In the US it's from the age of 40, but the mammographer said to me that they're actually considering lowering the UK age to 46, so that's being discussed at the moment, which I think is a great idea. Anyway, so long story short, I had lots of mammograms, I had an ultrasound, and I had loads and loads of needle biopsies, trying to get a small sample of an area, which was quite a tricky area to target. I think I had 11 needle biopsies, so I've been a bit sore over the weekend, but it's all worth it to be able to get the results that they need, and we can put up with a bit of pain for all the clever things that they can do. And if they can catch something that's untoward, or even before it becomes like suspicious, or even when it's suspicious before it becomes something sinister, you'd far rather have that taken out early. So I'm awaiting results at the moment. I'm sure everything will be fine, and even if they just do decide to remove the area that they're concerned with, I'd far rather them do that now. So I'm not putting this on Facebook to get lots of sympathy or anything. Actually, prayers and positivity is always nice, but no, more so because I wanted to say thank you NHS for being so amazing. I probably saw about 10 different women and one man, bless him, he was a trainee doctor, and it was all rather awkward because when I first arrived, I always get a trainee, and when I first arrived they said, would you mind if a male doctor did the initial consultation? So he's bound to be handsome and he is bound to be young, and yes he was, and I'm bound to see him out and about in pool. No, he was lovely. So he did my initial consultation on his own, and then reported back to the consultant. So it was rather awkward talking about nipples and things like that with a young handsome trainee. And then once we'd done that, the consultant said, would it be okay if he watched while she did the examination initially, which was fine. You've got to let them learn. So I did that, probably going a bit pink. And then she said, and how would you feel if he did a little examination? So I did that. I was very brave. No, actually, and it was all fine, and a story to tell. But I just urge anybody who's had any niggles in any part of their body to just go and get it checked out, because stress is not good for us either, but sometimes these early symptoms are so important to catch. So hopefully that will help someone, and if it doesn't, just know that the mammogram, when it does come to your turn, isn't that bad. It's a little bit sore, but nothing like horrible. We're all so used to smears now. By the time you've had your children, you're just so used to that. It's just a whole new thing to get used to, but so important. So thank you everybody for watching. Fingers crossed everything is clear and nothing needs to happen, but it is definitely worth checking these things. So have a good week. Bye for now.